Let me show you the video of me breaking down the trade that made me almost $1,700 in a few minutes yesterday. Taken live inside of the private community, and the reason why I'm sharing this breakdown with you guys is because I believe it's a very, very valuable lesson. You get to see the confluences that I personally look for before I enter any trade. Because yes, as a trader, I do have certain criteria that needs to be met before I place any trade. And yesterday's trade on NQ was just a perfect example of a trade that I take. So let me play this clip from yesterday's stream, and excuse the quality. I was working remotely yesterday. I was not in the office, which means I was trading from a MacBook, a laptop, and not my actual computer. So excuse the quality. All right. So yeah, let's talk about this trade, right? So beautiful turtle soup play. Looking at it, should I have held longer? No, because that's not a part of my plan, right? Should you get mad now? No. When you're out of a trade, do not worry about what price does. It's none of your freaking business. All right. Anyway. So I said in the beginning of the day, I put out in the daily outlook that we had this hour 4 unmitigated imbalance down here that I wanted to see price hit, right? We came close, formed equal lows, and then moved higher. So we didn't actually hit it, which means that it's still unmitigated. It's not been hit. And with the news today, PPI and unemployment claims, we made a high and we made a low. Often we will take out the high of news. And the low, it's like a significant liquidity pool, something you want to pay attention to. So I went in on this trade knowing that we could actually end up sweeping the high before going lower, which is why I lowered my size, right? Because my criteria for entering a trade were not 100%. It was not A+ in that sense, right? Because we could have easily went to the highs. So what did I do? I just lowered my risk, right? Anyway, the technical part of this is looking at it on a 2-minute time frame. We have a BPR that we're delivering from, right? We're holding this BPR very nicely, okay? So going to a 1-minute time frame, we started to move very healthy in terms of bearishness, we have a higher high, higher low, right? Very healthy. And after sweeping this low, we got a move up here. Now, I was still very confident in what I said in the beginning of the day, that this unmitigated hour 4 imbalance was going to get hit, right? And if that is going to get hit, these imbalances here should ideally hold, right? These bearish imbalances should hold. And so when we made a high like this inside of this 1-minute imbalance that you see here, that is when I knew, okay, that right there is my technical criteria to enter a trade, because I know that this high is only made for another high to come up and fill the gap, which this one failed to do, right? Something I say all the time, but it's just so good. And so I immediately entered as soon as we swept this high, but because that high also overlapped very, very beautifully with the OTE of this trading range, right? So seeing this high actually hitting this optimal trade entry, or this high sitting right at the 0.618 of this optimal trade entry, makes the turtle soup entry way better, right? And so that was basically the technical part. If I go down here and switch to regular trading hours, you're going to be able to see that the market actually gapped up this morning, meaning that we have a large inefficiency here that needs to get filled, right? I say this all the time as well. These regular trading hour gaps are getting filled 80 to 90% of the time. They get filled all the time, right? And so since we had barely even hit that gap yet, I was very confident that we were at least going to go to this hour 4 unmitigated imbalance, which is a little bit above the conditional encroachment of this regular trading hour gap. So all of that combined was basically the reason why I entered this position, if that makes sense. But it all just comes back to knowing where price wants to go, looking at the higher time frame and looking at the 4-hour chart, right? Because we had that unmitigated imbalance. And as you saw, that was just a perfect example of how I personally trade. This was also to give you guys an insight of what goes on inside of my private community. And no, I don't live stream to my members for the purpose of signals. I simply live stream so that people can see that I can do this real time and they can ask all the questions that they want. Not only live streams, but I also do charting sessions, daily and weekly outlooks. I do webinars and much more. So thank you a lot for watching this breakdown. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the description if you are interested in more of these trade breakdowns, because me personally, I learned the most from trade breakdowns and not actually new technical videos. Again, thank you a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.